Another reason I left religion, Christianity, fundamentalism, and Baptist churches is that the church teaches that men marry. Now, before we get started, I'm going to say the same thing I do at the beginning of every video, or at least at the first part of every new part. These are not your experiences. This is not an overall view of religion and Christianity. These are my experiences in the several denominations and 6 different churches I grew up in from the age of 0 to the age of almost 31. If you don't like my experiences, then this isn't for you. If you want to learn and see if your experiences resemble mine or they're entirely different and you just want to hear a different point of view, great. Please don't leave any hateful, angry comments that I'm making Christianity look bad. I'm just relaying, as honestly as I can, the experiences I've lived through. If you don't like what I say, then maybe teach the next generation of male leaders to behave themselves. Or start teaching something that isn't so sexist. So when I mean that the church teaches that cis men must marry, I'm talking about how the Baptist, fundamentalists, and Calvinistic churches view marriage. So the church teaches that men who aren't married, such as unmarried fathers, uncles, brothers, sons, or even husbands, that providing is solely for his job, and that a godly or decent man provides. So if you've gone to a church where men are taught to be men, godly leaders, and the leaders in their home, this is what I'm talking about. Nowhere that I know of does it say that men must be the sole providers. This was a rule that was created back when only men could provide for a full family unit. Women were barred from having jobs where they could make enough money to provide for a family. Women were not allowed to have corporate jobs until a few decades ago, where they could provide for a whole family, being a single parent, a widow, or whatever scenario you want to insert in there. Not until, I'd say, the last 30 years of the 20th century did women actually have the legal access without, and no, they haven't gotten rid of gender discrimination, but women, it was so much easier for women to get to the top of the hierarchy in corporate jobs. They still, women CEOs are still a minority, but compared to what they were in 1950, women have such an easier time now getting there, even though they only make 80 cents on the dollar, that white men do. So why does the church teach that men are the sole providers and that whatever they do must be a toxic version of men? Now, don't get me wrong. If you want a marriage or a partnership where one of you works and the other stays home to do their own business, to take care of the home, that's fine. Just don't make it your identity. You need to have friends. You need to have interests and things that you do outside the home. Same with guys. You need to have your own family, your own friend group. You need to have many identities outside of being a father, a husband, a mother, or a wife. You need to have your own individuality. You need to be your own person. You need time in your routine. Not every day, not even every week, but you need time where you are